Hello and welcome to Balls and Brew. Three guys sitting down, talking ball, talking brew on the Morgan You Know Podcasting Network. I am Jimmy. Rod is having some internet difficulties, mostly because Chris, I think he's got 7 NBA games going on, trying to also record this. Chris, how are you today in beautiful Bloomington, Indiana?
It is cold and gray here, so not beautiful now. But Rod, you're right about Rod. Like he's addicted to the NBA. We know this, and he's trying to watch 8 games at once and podcasts. Like his router just can't take it.
Yes, his router, which I believe he got from you when you put the little tin foil on it and everything like that. So
he said that's what he wanted.
It's what he wanted. It's what he got. What we want is Josh Williams. Williams, how great of a weekend did you have?
Yeah, as for my teams, that was awesome. We went 1-1 against the spread. We talked about Jacksonville having the special teams edge over Buffalo, and then what happens? The banged up Buffalo kicker hits a 50-yarder, while the kicker who just hit a 68 and 67-yarder for Jacksonville misses a 54-yarder. And so there, my suitcase bet goes down in flames because of that, and also because of Trevor Lawrence's shin going down on a 4th and 2 play. So I'm not better though. Love the IU football and the Bears football, so I can't ask for any much more than that.
So there were two, we're going to talk about IU football here in a second, but there were 2 instances this weekend that got the internet in an uproar, and I just want to get your opinions on it. Number 1 is Ben Johnson saying F the Packers as loud as he possibly could in the Bears locker room, and the McCaskies are known for no swearing. So that's what make that a little more interesting. And then the reporter talking to Liam Cohen saying, hey, you know what? You had a good season. Keep your head up. People were so angry about both of these. Chris, you are an angry person in general. Williams is a little happier. So, Chris, what were your thoughts, number 1, on the reporter thanking Liam Cohen for a good season?
I don't know. Reporters nowadays sometimes are just looking for that easy click bait, right? I don't know. I'm more interested in the Ben Johnson story, to be honest, right? Because one thing that football needs is rivalries. And as a fan, we get tired of seeing players be friends with teams on a team that we don't like. So if you're a Bears fan, or to be honest, if you're a Packers fan, this is nothing but refueling that rivalry, making it must-watch TV. I am so happy that that's what he's doing, even though I'm not a fan of either one of these teams. I love rivalries. Give me more of that from Ben Johnson. Make this heated. Make them hate each other. I love it.
Williams, this is a long way from Matt Eberflus and Matt LaFleur sitting together at a Knicks game talking. What did you feel? How did you feel about the Bears F the Packers comment?
Yeah, I have no problem with it. I mean, just as if LaFleur would have said F the Bears, I have no problem with it. I'm with Chris. This is good rivalry. We've talked about a pregame fist fight. These 2 teams have never been good at the same time, or very, very rarely have they been good at the same time. And so this is great for the NFL. It was great, in the 70s when the Raiders and the Broncos were both good at the same time. There's certain rivalries, the Cowboys and the Niners in the 80s. 90s. There's certain things that should be, going forward with the NFL. The Steelers and the Ravens forever for like 15 years. We'll see if that continues with 2 new head coaches, but we've never had the Bears and Packers good at the same time. So this is awesome. Miraculous comeback for the Bears. I had no problem with it. I was more disappointed with Liam Cohen because I think he's a top 10 coach in the league already. And I was so disappointed in his game plan. They were gashing the Bills. They had 10 rushes for 102 yards in the first half and then just decided to not run the ball again. So that was really disappointing because I had a lot tied to the Jacksonville futures there.
That's what it was disappointing. Yeah. You were just upset you lost a lot of money there, or maybe not a lot. Who knows? Listen, I think it's okay to say you had a good season. All these teams are like, oh, we didn't win a championship. You know what, Jacksonville? You had the 4th pick in the draft. I think it was the 4th pick in the draft last year. Traded up to number 2, didn't get anything out of Travis Hunter.
Yeah, Jimmy
and still made it.
Yeah, I think it was like a top 5 pick there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I didn't believe in them, right? They did much better than I think what most people expected, right? So that is a good season.
Yeah, it's a terrific season. Am I back on, gentlemen?
Yes.
You are.
Okay, good. And then the Bears is amazing. Yes, you want that. You want Ben Johnson to say, I don't like that team. And he didn't even mention their name, I don't believe. So that was great. The handshake afterwards, too. LaFleur did the same thing to him. Whatever. This is fun. I love it. There is no reason at all for people to be all bent out of shape about it. We don't have to be friends about everything. I am in a divided household, so it is very difficult for me to really get angry at that kind of thing, because if I do, I've got 18 people, because my wife's family's gigantic, yelling at me. But wow, what a great win for those Bears. Let me tell you, it'll be fantastic. Let's go to the divisional round here. Actually, no, wait, Chris. Let's talk about your Leatherhead of the week, first of all. We got to talk about that, get that out of the way.
We are going to crown our Leatherhead of the year. The regular season's over. We've seen everything, and I'm actually picking a guy who's still playing, all right? And he has won the Leatherhead of the week already this year, all right? And it's kind of the same reason he's going to win the crown for the entire year. I'm, of course, talking about Alex Singleton, all right? This is a kid, undrafted free agent, went through a few teams in a year, never got on the field, stayed on a practice squad, went to Calgary in 2016 to play in the Canadian Football League. What did he do? Continue to be a 2-year All-Star, win Best Defensive Player of the league in the CFL, and then help lead Calgary to a Grey Cup victory, all right? Gets right back into the NFL. Just inspiring story already. And what does he do this year? Right? Random drug test shows he has testicular cancer, plays in the game, goes have surgery, misses just 1 game, 2 total weeks, comes back, plays, still contributes to the Broncos and making that defense real formidable. Had 7 tackles again last week. The dude's just an inspiration, all right? Like he played through a torn ACL last year, got cancer, came back this year. This guy is the epitome of being a hard-nosed football player, fighting through pain, injury, everything for his team. That's my Leatherhead of the year, Alex Singleton of the Denver Broncos.
I think that's fantastic. You know, if you overcome testicular cancer, I think that has to put you up at the top of the list there. Williams, pretty good pick for Leatherhead of the year, you think, even though we don't know the criteria and he can do whatever he wants?
Oh man, yeah, that was awesome. That has got to be the pick for Leatherhead man of the year.
All right, so we are in the NFL divisional round. Josh Allen, and only Josh Allen, goes into Denver to face the Broncos Saturday, 3:30 p.m. Williams, what do you have?
Yeah, I've got a pick on this game. I'm going Bills and Broncos under 46.5 total points. You can find that -120 on FanDuel. Look, the Broncos are top 3 in defending 12 and 13 personnel. So like the big formations with multiple tight ends. Why is that important? Because the Bills have like 17 injuries with their wide receivers. So you think that they're going to go with some multiple tight ends here. And even though Denver plays a ton of man, they've been good versus scrambling quarterbacks this year, a la Josh Allen. The Bills' offense has been significantly worse versus man because, like I said, their wide receivers have been so pedestrian. They cannot create separation. And I think both teams are going to try and run the ball here. Buffalo plays extremely slow, and Denver loves to substitute. I mean, Sean Payton loves to substitute like 4 guys every other play, usually wide receivers. And so you take a look at the Bills, how the Bills wide receivers grade out best versus man. Elijah Moore this year has been their best wide receiver versus man. He's not on the team anymore. He's actually playing for the Broncos. So that's not great for them. Number 2 is Josh Palmer. He's on IR. Number 3 is Tyrell Shavers. He's on IR. Khalil Shakir, he's actually active. Then you get down to Gabe Davis. He's on IR. Curtis Samuel, he's coming off the IR. Dalton Kincaid is in a protective boot. And then you finally get down to Brandon Cooks. And I know Brandon Cooks had over 100 yards versus Philly last week, but he did not have any catches against Quinyon Mitchell. So who can Denver put on Cooks that is somewhat similar to Quinyon Mitchell? Oh, I don't know. Maybe the defensive player of the year, Patrick Surtain last year. So I just don't see how Buffalo is going to score that many points in this game. I think, and it's hard to trust Denver and Bo Nix Buffalo gives up the least amount of explosive plays on the year. And so they're going to make Bo Nix travel the length of the field. And I don't know. I mean, I don't have a lot of faith in that. So, I mean, he could do it once or twice, but I like the under here, under 46.5 in Mile High on Saturday to kick off the playoffs.
Do you think that Denver is just going to stack the box, making sure Buffalo can't run it and force them to pass?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to try to limit James Cook, not only running the ball, but receiving out of the backfield, because Buffalo does have a good offensive line. They're going to try and run it. But yeah, if I was Denver, I would try to stack this box and spy Josh Allen as much as possible. I know Josh Allen is Superman, but with all these injuries, I just don't know how they're going to score a ton of points here. So it's going to be a good game, though.
Do you think the Broncos are going to win, though? Do you think they're going to pull it out?
I've been back and forth on this, man. I have a future on the Broncos from the beginning of the year to win the AFC. So I'm trying not to let that get in the way. And when this game first got announced, I was leaning towards Buffalo. But the more I dig in here, I just think Buffalo is just too injured in this game. And I think somehow Denver might pull it out.
Chris, I know you used to be a bookie back in the saloon days in the Wild Wild West there, taking money on horses and that type. Broncos Bills in Mile High Stadium. Do you think the Broncos have enough? Do you think Bo Nix is going to step up and beat the Bills, or will Superman overcome his kryptonite?
Josh Allen is going to have to be every bit a Superman if he wants to have a chance. Because not only is this Broncos defense elite, but so is this offensive line. They're rated by PFF as the best offensive line in the league. They've only allowed 6 sacks all season, 7 better than number 2 in the league. All right, so Bo Nix will have time to throw to open receivers. Give those receivers time, and they will get separation, and Bo Nix can find them. And they can run the ball as well. So I think the Bills are going to have to find a way to score quick and often if they want to have a chance to win this game.
Then we go to one of the games I'm looking forward to the most. Not the game I'm looking forward to the most, but one of them. We have Saturday at 7 p.m., the 49ers and the Seahawks. San Francisco coming in kind of like Buffalo, a lot of injuries, but San Francisco's actually might be getting a couple players back. Seattle, big exclamation point on their depth chart today where Sam Darnold was injured. Looks like a little bit of an oblique, nothing major, 0% chance he's not playing. Williams, does that factor into anything for Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, it could. This was another thing that was awesome for me last week. The IU wins, Bears win, and Shanahan pulls it out of a hat. Another fantastic win. Nobody thought that the Niners could go to Philadelphia and win that game, but he pulled it out. But I just, here again, we talked about Buffalo, all the injuries they have at wide receiver. I'm talking about San Francisco, all the injuries they have everywhere. And I don't see how they can pull this win off. You know, the 2 games that they've played against Seattle this year, they've scored a combined 20 points. And now you don't have Kittle. You've got extra rest for Seattle. Meanwhile, you have San Fran coming off short rest because they played on Sunday, and now they have to play on Saturday night. So And Trent Williams is definitely not healthy because he gave up 6 pressures last week. When does that ever happen? Like, there's been seasons where he hasn't given up 6 pressures. So he's still banged up. And Seattle did a good job shutting down Juwan Jennings in both games this year. And now with no Kittle and the lack of running game, I know McCaffrey has been fantastic in the receiving game, but he's really been limited in the rushing attack. And so I think they're going to have even more resources to shut down Jennings. And you go all the way back to last year when Brock Purdy had a chance to win the MVP. Who did they play late in the year? They played the Baltimore Ravens. What defense was led by the Baltimore Ravens? It was Mike McDonald, and Brock Purdy had his worst game of the year. And I think Mike McDonald he loves playing against these Shanahan and McVay offenses because he is the kryptonite. He knows what they're going to do one step ahead of them. We've seen the Niners only score 20 points against Seattle this year. I just don't know how. I don't know how Shanahan keeps the magic going. I'm going to be rooting for him, but I just don't see it. I think Seattle's got too much defense for him.
Chris, I really think this comes down to a battle of the quarterbacks. Do you have the confidence that Sam Darnold in a big game is going to step up and actually take the Seahawks to the NFC Championship, NFC Championship, both of them? I don't even care.
Yeah, I mean, when you mean step up, do you mean not turn the ball over?
Yes, I mean not turn the ball. I mean not piss down his leg is what I'm meaning.
Right? I think he can survive this game without turning the ball over. I really do. I think Seattle has been overlooked for much of the season. I think they are better than this 49ers team, maybe even if the 49ers were fully healthy. I do find it kind of odd that Williams is going to bet against his savior or his chosen one after the Lord and Savior and the chosen one
Gonna say,
won
wait
last
a minute
week.
here. Whoa.
I can't remember who's who anymore. I can't remember if Shanahan's the chosen one or the Lord and Savior.
Shanahan's the chosen one. Yes. But I've been wrong on like every single Shanahan bet this year.
Just look out for my boy, Jake. Is it Tongas?
Tongas, yes.
Tongas. He has been really, really good when Kittle's out. I know that because I'm a Bears fan, and I saw him score like 75 fantasy points against us. But he's really, really been good. Had a couple drops here and there, but I think that's somebody that Purdy's going to go to a lot again. And I think that Niners have a chance. I think this is going to go down to the end. I am going to take Seattle, but I do think this is going to go down to the end for sure.
We are going to be in my player pool for DFS this week, Jimmy. So good call there.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to go to my heel of the week, and that would be the LA Chargers offensive line. I really felt sad for Justin Herbert. Like I've been a Chargers guy. I really screwed them over a couple years ago when I picked them to go to the Super Bowl and they didn't make the playoffs. I felt horrible for him. He was bloody, beaten, battered. He and Joe Burrow need to go get a drink, Williams.
Yeah, that's true. I could not believe how bad the Chargers offense played in that game. Like you wasted a really good Chargers defensive playoff performance. And like, when can we have said that in the last 30 years? So yeah, the offensive line was bad, and it was really bad because the Patriots are like bottom 5 in pressure rate on defense. So it was extremely bad when Herbert was getting pressured that much in that game. So, but it wasn't all on the offensive line. Herbert just did not play well. I couldn't believe how poorly he played either. So hopefully Joe Alt and Slater come back next year. Those offense tackles will be huge for the Chargers. And I really think that the Chargers could have a really good year next year. So hopefully
I really kind of had a decent year this year, everything considered.
I really think you guys are maybe being a little bit too hard on this offensive line. Okay, let's think about it. All right,
you Herbert hater.
I've heard it on this podcast in the past before how great Justin Herbert is at the position of quarterback. All right, can you really blame these offensive linemen to want to maybe just kind of stop and turn around and just stare in awe of how good Justin Herbert is? I think I might even be guilty of doing that a few times a game, all right? But seriously, he got, pressured 30 times out of 31 dropbacks, right? I know
right.
Chargers quarterbacks are familiar with being unprotected, but, that's a little bit crazy.
Williams, give us a breakdown on this game.
Houston at New England. So I have a player prop here. We'll get to that in a second, and this leads up to it. And when the Patriots have defensive tackle Milton Williams on the field, it's extremely tough to run on this defense. When he's been on the field this year, the most rushing yards they have given up to a single rusher is 58 yards. And he actually got hurt in that game. So I'm going to give out Woody Marks under 55.5 rushing yards. That's minus 114 on FanDuel. And this is an extremely poor offensive line anyway for Houston. In a bottom 5, they're bottom 5 in rush efficiency and explosive rush percentage. And this is also, the thing about this is also a road dog team by 3 points. So there's a higher probability that they're in a negative game script more often than they have been in these last 10 games where they've won the 10 games. So, and there's also a chance that Will Anderson and Daniel Hunter create some turnovers, creating some shorter fields for this Houston offense. So, yeah, I don't know how this is going to be another low scoring game, I believe. So give me Woody Marks under 55.5 rushing yards.
All right. Thanks for jumping in there, Chris. I'm trying to get rotted.
Sorry.
Listen, I think this is going to be a huge test, Chris, for the Patriots here, because they have not faced a defense like this before. No one really has until they face the Texans. I am worried about Drake May because he's had to run his ass off this season. I think he's got 600. He's got a lot of yards rushing, and I'm worried that they're going to get to him a lot like it happened last week with the Chargers. They got to him a lot. I think the Texans have a good shot on winning this game if C.J. Stroud can keep the ball out of the Patriots' defensive hands.
Right? Like, hold on to the ball at least a couple times, right? What was there, 3 fumbles? All right, like, hey, mate, cut it in half or something. But yeah, I think this defense is so good they could probably literally beat anybody. I know I picked them last week as a team no one believes in, right? Really want them to beat the Patriots because I hate the Patriots are good again. I do think the Patriots had one of the softer schedules in the NFL this year. I think this is going to be a wake-up call to their offense. I think Houston outright wins this game, even though they're 3.5 points underdogs right now.
Let's go to, sorry, everybody. This is fun. Rod is being locked out, which is great. There's got to be something with his internet going on there. All right, we're going to talk about your, and my Chicago Bears and Los Angeles Rams in very, very cold Soldier Field. So cold, in fact, Williams, that Ben Johnson, our Lord and Savior, thank you very much, has practiced all week outside, to which Kevin Byard, I believe, said, yeah, that was a point of contention, but it's okay.
That's awesome. One quick stat from this last week. Teams in playoff games to score 25 points in the fourth quarter and overcome a 15-point deficit to win in the fourth quarter or OT. There's been 2 of those teams in the history of football. One is the 2016 Patriots Super Bowl team when they came back from down 28-3 against the Falcons. The other was your 2025 wild card Bears team to come back on the pack down 21-6 in the fourth quarter. They were actually down 21-3 in the third quarter. And in the second half, the Bears had 11 explosive plays. That's the most in a half in NFL playoff history since they've been tracking that. So we talk about Bears and Rams. It's going to be extremely cold. Hopefully that is an advantage to Chicago. But we have to say this. How many times has the Chicago players played in this cold of weather? Because we know that we haven't been this deep in the playoffs in a very, very long time. So, but getting back to like trends, the Rams have lost 8 out of their last 10 games in Chicago, and Stafford is only 1-9 in his last 10 games playing in the rain or snow. So I thought that was a little surprising there. But Chris, you got anything on this game? What do you think here?
I think Stafford's capable of about anything. I'm happy for you Bears fans. I don't know if anybody out of this game gets past Seattle anyway. I think Seattle's bound for the Super Bowl.
Go ahead, Williams.
Yeah, I think the Bears do not match up well with Seattle. I will agree with you there because you have to get pressure on Darnold, and the Bears just cannot get any pressure. And Caleb has struggled versus really tough Ds this year, and Seattle might be the best D in the league. I think the team that Seattle doesn't want to play is the Rams because the Rams know them. They've put up a tremendous amount of points both times. Well, the second time they played them. I mean, they blew that game when they played Seattle 30-16. They were up and they blew that game. And then going back to what Jimmy said, do you really trust Darnold? You can trust him this week. I agree. San Fran can't get any pressure either. But do you really trust Darnold in an NFC championship game against that front four with the Rams? I don't know. I don't know if I do or not. But
you know what Sam Darnold reminds me of? All this hate and non-believers. It kind of reminds me of the Hoosier football team and how they were disregarded and no one believed in them. They said they'd be okay until they play someone good, and we just keep winning. What does Sam Darnold do? He just keeps winning.
Did you just do a transition?
I've been a Darnold supporter forever. And I was on that Vikings team last year who won like 14 games. Just because we don't love Darnold in the NFC Championship game doesn't mean that we think he's just absolutely garbage. Jimmy's just
never been so proud. I've got more to say, but Caleb Williams is my face because he's amazing, ice in his veins. But we're gonna go because that was terrific, Chris. Excellent work.
Chris wants to talk about the Hoosiers.
Let's talk about the Hoosiers. Let's talk about everyone saying that this is going to be a close game, and it was a close game for approximately 6 seconds. When Dante Moore, who did so bad, he's going back to college because he needs more work. Williams, you know what, Chris? You did the transition. You've been a lifelong going to every game when there's 8 people in the stands. Talk to me about your excitement that day.
I was floored and ecstatic after that first play. Like, let's be honest, right? Just floored and ecstatic. It couldn't have started a better way. I was still riding high even when Oregon came back and marched it right down the field. Maybe Dante Moore wants to come back because he needs to learn more, or maybe he doesn't want to end up on the Jets. We don't know. That, we hear this every week now, and I've been one to say that it's hard for me to fathom what we've been able to do. But we heard this before the Alabama game. Well, they don't have the talent. We heard it before the Ohio State game. Well, they don't have the talent, blah, blah, blah. And then Oregon. Well, Oregon is tough to beat a team twice in a row. They're probably the second favorite to win the national championship, and we just dominate them there. I don't see why people haven't started really believing, because now all we hear is how good this defensive line is for Miami, and they are. They look like world beaters up there, but Indiana has been able to step up to every challenge we've come across this season. So why stop now?
Williams, you're also a lifelong Hoosier fan in every aspect, every game, every team. How are you feeling here right now?
It was awesome. It was awesome. That we totally rattled Dante Moore from the first play, and you could tell that coaching mattered on that play. They told the cornerbacks to not go back on the hit. They probably told these guys the first play is going to be a hitch. They're not going to go long, so don't backpedal at all and break right when he breaks. And that was perfect sound coaching. And I still didn't understand why people had Dante Moore as the number 1 overall pick for 2 reasons. One, because I don't think he was as good as Mendoza. And 2, I thought he was going to come back regardless, because the way he looked in that game, he looked so scared after we got to him. And I think the top 4 defenses that he played this year, he had like 5 touchdowns and 4 picks. So it's like, it wasn't anything like totally out of this world. So yeah, Mendoza, I think, is going to be the number 1 overall pick. It'll be interesting if he goes to the Raiders because he's so religious, and that's kind of Sin City, but we'll see there. But no, I think this game, I have an interesting take on the national championship game, and it really has nothing to do with on the field play. It has to do about the day that it's being played on. I think it's a huge advantage for the Hoosiers that the game is being played on Monday night. One, because we're going to get 3 extra days of prep from the previous Friday night, and that's going to favor Cignetti 100 times out of 100 times. But the other reason why I think it's a huge advantage is because, let's think about this. If the game was on Friday night, they'd come in and play on Friday night. So Miami has to go to a different hotel to get out of Miami. These athletes are creatures of habit, creatures of nature. And you don't think that this is Miami here. You don't think that former athletes that have played for Miami are going to be bugging Mario Cristobal for tickets, for let me get on that field Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. All the things that could go wrong in Miami for that Miami team off the field. I think this is a huge advantage for IU and how buttoned up Cignetti is. Give me 3 extra days. I know that defensive line is tough. I know the offensive line for Miami is really underrated. But give me the 3 extra days of prep and all the distractions that Miami has to put up with for the next 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. Give me the Hoosiers all day. We are going to complete this memorable 16-0 undefeated run here. This is just a fairy tale with Cignetti this season. Just unbelievable.
Chris, you think we think?
Yeah, I do. I'm still nervous, right? I'll be honest, I'm still nervous. But we've seen time and time again that this Hoosiers team doesn't make mistakes. The people are in the right place at the right time. Their fundamentals are sound, right? Williams hit the nail on the head. This is going to be about coaching. And I think no matter what, we have enough to come out on top. Maybe it's probably not going to be a blowout, I don't think. It is a national championship game. Anything's possible, but I think we come out on top.
I really hope so. I am a little nervous about that Miami defense. They're really good, but our offense is really good as well. So if you want to go and see it, you can go and see it for $2,900 is the get-in price right now. Parking right outside the stadium is, I believe, in the $700 range. Across little walkways, only 280, so that should be fine. How ridiculous is that? This is so bad.
Dude, I have some inside information. I have a buddy going to this game.
Got a rich buddy going to this game.
No, he knows the right people. But
he got the McAfee. Okay, got
yeah. Do you guys remember last year the soccer story of the Colombians jumping the turnstiles here and like getting in and sitting down in people's seats, and then actual ticket holders coming in and saying, "Hey, you're in my seats"? There were so many Colombians that did that, and so the security could not get them all out. They have put up like blockades, like concrete blockades, and so you cannot do that anymore. And actually, you cannot get within a mile of the stadium unless you have a ticket. So,
oh wow,
yeah. So like, there's going to be none of that. So, and I've heard that's going to be like 40% IU, 40% Miami, as how the tickets were distributed, and then like 20%, networks and all that. But so hopefully we're going to have a good IU crowd here.
So if you want to go to the game, I'd get there now. Park now, just sleep there for a few days, walk in, start getting in line about 1:00 in the afternoon, because it's going to take forever to get in this, Chris.
Yeah, right. I actually think we're going to see probably 60 to 70% IU in the stands. They did the same split for the Peach Bowl, and we saw how that turned out. There was still 90% IU fans at that.
I don't think Peach Bowl tickets were quite that expensive.
No.
But
listen,
crazy.
There's a lot of
$20,000 for one seat. Go for it.
Listen, you fans, this is a once in a lifetime experience. All right. People save up money for vacations, everything else like that. That's what this is, right? It's no different than when the Cubs finally got back into the World Series. People from every status of society was doing everything they can to get to those games, right? Same thing. We don't know if this is going to happen again. We hope so, but let's get there while we can.
Well, we don't know if it's going to happen again because we don't know a lot of things. Going back to the NFL, we've got coaching vacancies, coaching hires, coaching stepping down. Williams, are you okay? Rah-rah Tomlin out in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he is. I was worried that Marcus Freeman was going to go there, so it looks like that has calmed down right now, hopefully. But yeah, we'll see where all these end up with. There was a over-under. I didn't jump on this, but there was last month where they were like, what's the over-under on how many coaching vacancies there were? And they put it at 5. And I was like, 5?
Wow.
I was like, there's going to be at least 7 here. And what? There's like 9
got the
right
second
now?
highest in like 20 years.
Yeah. And did you guys know that in 2022, there was 10 coaches that were fired? So we had 10 new coaches. In 2022, 8 of those coaches are already gone. That's crazy.
John Harbaugh to the Giants. Chris, are you excited about that?
No, because I'm a Cowboys fan. If there's a chance the Giants get better, I don't want any part of it, right? Let them hire Dayball back for all I care. Let them get Arthur Smith. How about that? I can deal with that.
Well, no, you got John Harbaugh there with the Giants, and they, when you go in for an interview and they put you on a coach flight and they bring you out and they take you out to a nice dinner, I think it goes pretty well. And then the next day you hear, oh, they sent the private jet for this one. Well, I'm not getting that job. It's funny because Steve Biscotti, who, by the way, needs to do more interviews. He's done like one press conference in 6 years, I think.
When the coach swap.
He said, after being asked, do you think he would still be the coach if Luke hit the field goal? And he looked dead in the eye without missing a beat and said, for one more week. Damn! And he basically got rid of him because they couldn't finish out games in the fourth quarter. Williams, what was the Giants' number one issue last year? Besides injuries.
Yeah. Could not close out games in the fourth quarter.
So it looks like Tomlin is going to do some TV analysis, things like that. He still has 2 years left on his contract. Do you think he does TV, or do you think he comes back to coach, Williams? This year?
No, he'll do TV for a year, then he'll come back. I thought a really good spot for him was Atlanta. Actually, they just drafted those 2 pass rushers, edge rushers. They've got some good offensive weapons, and most of all, if Tomlin went to the NFC South, how many times in a row would he win that division? Like 10. and all you got to do is get to 9 or 10 wins in that division. So,
And that's what he does.
yeah. So,
Nope, I think you guys are wrong. He's coming to Indianapolis next year.
Interesting. So you think the Colts are going to be that bad next year and Steichen's going to be gone? Steichen, apparently, a lot of people really like him. I don't know about head coach, but a lot of people say, terrific play caller, things like that. Do you think the Colts are going to give up on him then, Chris?
We had a glimpse of what we could be, right? I think he needs to find some of that magic again next year, because we talked about it. He was on the hot seat before the season started, really, in Indianapolis. I don't think that changes next year. And
so
if
Chris
he doesn't
wants Arthur Smith to be the offensive coordinator for the Colts.
Nope. Just give me Tomlin so I can turn around and be part of the Tomlin rah-rah spot. All right?
Oh, that would be amazing. So
Chris
here has said he wants the Colts to tank, fire their coach, get the number 1 pick. Oh, they don't have.
No, I'm not asking them to tank. I'm just trying to have a theory on what the future could hold. And I know how the NFL is. Coaches have a short leash. I would love to have Tomlin in Indianapolis for 10 plus years. Wouldn't you?
That would be amazing. My only concern with Tomlin is he might go the Bill Cowher route and do TV and be like, hey, I'm getting paid a lot, and this isn't as hard. What do you think, Williams?
Yeah, I think he goes to TV for 1 year and then comes back in. I think he's too charismatic. He cares too much about the NFL, and there's so many players that love to play for him. So I think he just takes 1 year off and comes back in.
Yeah, he could just miss like the locker room. He's been a locker room type coach his whole career, so he will miss the locker room when he's doing TV.
All right, we're gonna flip things up a little bit here. Yeah, go ahead, Williams. Take us. Yeah, circle back, Williams. Circle back.
We didn't hit on this last week. Wins league total from 2025.
Sorry,
Jimmy,
my bad.
You love it. So the final standings in 4th place, Jimmy. You did get to 50. You got to 52. You broke 50. Okay. 3rd place was Chris. Chris was in 1st or 2nd place all year, ends up in 3rd with 70 wins.
Oh, I'm so mad.
It's because of last week you only had 2 wins. Rod
got 5.
Rod got 6. I have Rod was 6 in the last week. Was 7, so he ended up with 72, and then I had 4 in the last week. I ended up with 78.
Look at that. 78 for Williams, 72 for Rod, 70 for Chris, and we don't need to talk about Jimmy at all in the Wins League. Hey, it's my gimmick. That's what I do. Williams, congratulations on winning our Wins League. Chris, congratulations on getting, I think, the most wins in our Knockout League, which, let's be honest, it was more of a knock-in league because we didn't really win that.
We all had winning records, I believe.
We did.
So we were right.
Did a good job on that.
We were right more than we were wrong.
All right, since Rod isn't here, I'm going to be a little sneaky here. We're going to throw a little baseball in here real quick. The Cubs sign Alex Bregman to a gigantic deal. Chris King, how are we feeling?
I mean, it fills a need, right? We had some issues down the stretch, especially at that position, so I think it fills a need. If we can stay healthy and have consistent pitching, we are going to be right there at the top of the Central, fighting for the playoffs again.
Williams, the last time that we signed or traded for a former Astro, it didn't go with quite as well as we wanted it to. You have any good feelings about Bregman and the Cubs?
No, I'm not sure on that one. I was more pumped about the upside of Edward Cabrera, the starter we got from the Marlins. Throws 100 miles an hour when he's healthy, which is key. And then they've bolstered up the bullpen too, which is never going to get any of the headlines, but I think those moves have been probably more significant in my eyes than Bregman. I was a Matt Shaw fan last year. Like in the second half, I thought he really turned it on. I thought he played outstanding defense. But I get it. You got to pay for experience, and they want to take that next step.
We couldn't score runs consistently, though. That was a big issue for us, especially down the stretch.
Was hurt most of the year. Suzuki.
Yeah, and so I think they want to shore up the depth. And so it'll be interesting to see how the infield depth is going to be.
Well, you could still see situations.
You don't need to trade Nico Horner. You don't need to trade anybody.
No.
Keep them.
No.
Well, and last year Suzuki was mostly DH. If he plays more right field this year, then you could have Bregman DH and Shaw in the field for defense as well. So, like, there are going to be like you said, Williams, depth that we can make adjustments.
And
in the
Horner's
lineup.
going to want to play more shortstop when he becomes a free agent because they get more money. So he'll play there. Swanson can DH. There's a lot of things that can happen.
I think Moisey Ballesteros, Mo Baller, as I like to call him, I think he'll DH a lot if Seiya's playing and right. And then, one other thing about, I'm going to circle this back with the Bears, in this day and age of like the college kids taking more money, or like somebody at baseball not running out a ground ball to first base, or NBA guys load management. In this day and age, I got to tell you, one thing I love about Caleb Williams is he hates to lose. And it reminds me of another guy in Chicago named a PCA who hates to lose. And I love that those two guys are on my team, man. And so I just thought I'd share that with you guys, that I love that they hate to lose so much.
He was pissed on the sidelines when the receiver didn't run the right route, and I think it was one of the interceptions he threw. And then I do like the fact, too, Chris, he does have ice in his veins. After he threw that touchdown pass, just hands in, walk to the sideline. That was kind of cool.
Act like you've been there before.
And they have.
The fourth,
go
how
ahead.
Good was the 4th and 8 pass to Rome? Like he's going to his left, and he puts that in a bucket to Rome. Unbelievable. If we don't get that play, we probably lose the game.
It's the Jordan pose all over again. It really is. And if we don't get 10 of those plays, we lose the game. That's what the Bears are. And let me tell you, my heart is good, but come on now, people. At one point in these, I want Ben Johnson to go, guys, come on. This is ridiculous. What isn't ridiculous is we're going to do a real quick, William, stay here with us. We're going to do a real quick fast break. Then we'll go to WWE. Don't worry about it. But Chris, you went to the Pacers-Celtics game this week, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
All right, talk to me about it. How was the game? How was the experience? How was sitting next to Rod, who was not very happy that Jaylen Brown didn't play and that the Celtics lost?
The game, listen, there's not a bad seat in the field house, all right? There really isn't. So it is always fun to be there and be able to watch the NBA game. Being there with two great friends, of course, and a couple beers, what could be better, right? And even though it was an absolutely horrid offensive game, Pacers came out on top and beat the Celtics.
That's all that matters, isn't it?
Yeah. It was great.
Rod
was not happy.
I have no doubt in my mind he wasn't happy, but we'll get he's going to give a Rod damnation on this next week, I have a feeling. But we will get his thoughts on that next week. Rod will definitely be back. Williams, you'll be back as well. Hopefully, I will love football next week, twice over. We'll see what happens. But for now, you've been listening to Balls and Brew. Coming up next, we've got the Yeah We Know podcast.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye, Internet.
Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Know's podcasting network. In the ring with Jimmy and Chris. Rod is not here today. That is okay. We do miss him a lot. Chris, go ahead.
I mean, we know why Rod's not here. He knew what was coming. He didn't want to be a part of this. And this, what I'm talking about is, of course, the coronation of the new king of the WWE, royalty, if you will, Drew McIntyre. Finally, he has what he deserves. He's been speaking truth this entire time. All right, we have all believed in him. We know the troubles that he's faced and these dastardly heels that have been purposely getting in his way to what has been rightfully his. All right, so we can just all hail Drew McIntyre right now.
Can't believe you're actually going to count that as a win. Who walks out of a steel cage, Chris?
I mean, I remember last week, and you guys were complaining about how the start of this triple count out, best 2 out of 3 fall is. And what I really remember is this past Raw was Cody getting pinned legitimately with no schmaz in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. Like, however you want to talk about the rest of it. All right. Drew can't control whoever runs into the ring. I know if I'm inside a cage and all of a sudden Jacob Fatu comes out, runs into the cage and starts pummeling me and gets distracted, yeah, I'm just getting out of there as quick as possible.
I wonder if they're going to have Cody being the one that hurt Jacob Fatu and go in that direction for WrestleMania, because Fatu did beat them both down because he didn't know who did it. I think that's an interesting aspect of this angle.
I think it fits perfectly into what Moses has seen of Cody Rhodes, right? Going down, coming close to breaking, starting to attack people, right? We know he's been the face of the WWE for a while now, but I think he's starting to crack. I think it would be a great storyline. I'd be much more interested in that side of the storyline for Cody than what he currently is.
It would be something different, something unique, and maybe put him towards that bad guy side, because there are rumors that the WrestleMania card has kind of been thrown out and they're redoing some things now. It was supposed to be Cody and Roman again, and I don't really think anyone wanted that.
Well, how many times have we seen that formula used, right? I know when I came back, it was Roman versus this guy for the 4th time, or Roman versus this guy for the 3rd time, right? So that formula it shouldn't be overused, is what I'll say. So give us something new, something different.
It should not be overused at all. So it's kind of funny that he wins it, but he wins it on a tape show. Well, not a tape show. I guess it was this SmackDown. Yeah, it was a tape show. Sorry. He did win it in front of an audience. And this week when he comes out, he's going to get cheered tremendously as well. They love seeing happenings. Drew McIntyre coming out in front of a crowd as the champion for more than 5 seconds. It's a good win by Drew.
I think it was 5 minutes and 42
Chris.
seconds is what you're referring to. It was 5 minutes and 42 seconds when he was the world heavyweight champ. All right. So, yeah, right. And
look who's here to talk about Drew McIntyre.
Just as I was coming down off my high horse.
Just as you're coming down, everything's going to go great. And then Rod jumps in off the top rope to talk about Drew McIntyre winning the WWE Championship. Rod, how are you tonight?
Do you really want me to answer you that question, or do you want me just to start talking wrestling with you guys?
I think we should probably talk wrestling right now.
Yeah, because these last 50 minutes have been quite the battle for your guy here. I maybe have hosted a podcast on the internet for a lot of years, but as I say all the time, Jimmy, you are the brains behind the operation. Downloading a different version of Chrome and clearing my cache and then logging back in, and all of that took me quite a while here. But here we are, just so I can say that Drew McIntyre winning the WWE Championship was the right call. It was the absolute right call. I don't know how I feel about it being won on tape, right? But I guess in some weird way down in the subcockles of my heart, I kind of feel old school, right? Like it's the way the Sheik used to win the belt. That's the way the Macho Man used to win the belt. And Ricky the Dragon Steamboat used to win the belt, right? We did it on tape, and then we found out about it later. So I was bummed that I got ruined on Twitter, but it was still a pretty darn good match.
That was pretty good for sure. Do you think Jacob Fatu and Cody Rhodes is a new direction, maybe?
To be honest with you, Jimmy, I'd forgotten about Jacob Fatu, and I felt bad about forgetting about Jacob Fatu when he showed up back in the ring, because I like him an awful lot, and he can be charismatic at times. So, listen, Cody needs something, but I don't know. Chris has been hitting it, bad guy Cody, and as much as I don't like to give Chris credit when it comes to wrestling angles, he may be onto something there. Cody, the bad guy, is way more interesting than almost anything else they can serve me up.
Jimmy brought it up tonight. He said, does Jacob find out that Cody was the one that injured him and not Drew?
Okay. Well, if Jimmy said it, there's probably something to it.
So we can see that. Definitely. Has to be, for sure. Another something to it, my long-standing love for the United States Open Challenge. We had Carmelo Hayes against Shinsuke Nakamura. A pretty decent match for Nakamura, and he can either go 100% or 10%. This is like about a 30-40% here with that, but it continues to build up Hayes, and I really like to see this on a weekly basis.
Listen, you know I'm all in for Carmelo, and I love that you said that about Shinsuke, because I've always thought that about him, and I'm like, well, am I wrong about that? Because clearly I don't know as much about wrestling as other people do about wrestling, right? I'm getting there, but I still admit that I don't have all the knowledge base that I need. But I'm like, Shinsuke seems like he's not really trying here. So when he does, he's exciting. You know what I mean? Like, he's a different kind of style, and I like Shinsuke's style because too many of these matches anymore, Jimmy, and I don't know how much more time we're going to be talking about wrestling here because you've been going at the people for a while, but like I'm noticing too many people know the spots that they're supposed to get to next and have no ability to be able to do anything in the middle there to make it all come together, right? And it's just like, but what Shinsuke does with constantly kicking and back kicking and punching, right, is he can always find a way to fill that dead space. And Carmelo Hayes is such a good grappler that I think he also finds a way to fill that dead space. And I've just really been noticing that recently, Jim, with both of those guys who you just brought up.
Okay. That's a really good insight, Rod. I love your perspective and how you watch that. Speaking of perspective, Rod, Chris did an amazing transition. I know you're going to listen back. Amazing transition earlier. You would be very, very proud. He went from NFL to college football seamlessly. Of course, then Williams had to circle back, but that's okay. Chris got the points for that. Speaking of circling back, we're circling back to the MFT and Wyatt 6 feud that to this day I still say should have been in War Games. I should have been in War Games. It would have been terrific. I really like this, Chris. I know you like this as well.
Right? No, it is. Every match they've put together so far has been really well done, I think. And this, we've all agreed with you, I think, that they pushed this other War Games on us just to get the bigger stars in there when this was what we really probably needed to see. I think that would have elevated both these groups. We are fans of the MFT and the face paint, and we know Solo is charismatic, and the Wyatt 6 crazy and weird, and apparently like to murder people, so it's perfect.
Rod, you've been on Solo Sikoa's train for a long. You're the conductor for this thing.
I'll tell you what, Jimmy. I wonder what happened in WWE Creative between the time we were leading up to War Games and now. Because I know things move quickly in the WWE, but if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, War Games wasn't that long ago. And at War Games, we had a couple of different builds we could have done that would have serviced a lot of guys. And they scrapped it and threw in all the old big stars, right? And they just kind of mishmashed it together and threw it all at us. But now for Mania, it seems anyway, as if they're building us new people, right? A lot of the same old guys seem like they're being shut out. So I just wonder what happened in creative between, no, we got to give them all the stars at War Games to, you know what, Mania next year, we're going to give them the new crop. I wonder, because it certainly didn't feel like a send-off at War Games, but maybe it was.
It's really strange because this is Royal Rumble season, and we really haven't talked about the Rumble at all, and it's in just a couple of weeks. And I think they are going, and they brought in so many new people, including Trick Williams, who we'll talk about here in a minute, that I think they are going to change a lot of what WrestleMania is going to be. They can. It's on ESPN now. They don't have to really worry about subscribers and things like that. They already have their money. I think the Royal Rumble is going to be weird just because it's going to be, I don't even know what time it is, like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not, in the States. I think it's a good time to try some new things, and I applaud them for that. I'd love to try new things. Randy Orton and Trick Williams in the ring together on SmackDown was really cool. Interesting. Something you didn't expect to see, Rod. And that's a match we could see at WrestleMania.
Yeah, definitely Randy has been involved in the league of, I'm going to help get guys over, right? And also we could see Randy go back into tag team matches, right? We all remember how fun RK Bro was. We don't really want to talk about the Riddle part of that because it didn't really end as well for him, but that was definitely fun when we had RK Bro going on. It's a way to elongate Randy, have him not to take as many bumps, which is definitely good in his advanced age. But it seems, though, Jim, as if they're not content on running Randy back up the card for another title run. And I guess that kind of bums me out for right now anyway. But then it also makes me think, okay, maybe Randy's got a few more legs in him than I think, right? Maybe we got 2 more Manias left in Randy Orton, and maybe this isn't his last one. So let's have him make some guys, because Trick Williams, a nice notch in his belt early, can do wonders for him because he clearly has all the goods.
I don't know if Ray Phoenix was the best opponent for Trick Williams in his first match in. Chris, what did you think about that as someone who hasn't really seen Trick?
I've been impressed with him ever since he got onto the main roster. Every match I like his entrance music. I like his catchphrase. I like his attitude. He reminds me of Booker T a little bit. I was a Booker T fan. There's a lot of stuff I like about Trick Williams.
Another newbie that got brought up. Another newbie that just got brought up. Javon Evans versus Bravo Americano. It looks like he's going to go the Americano route over the next few weeks. Were you impressed with Javon? He pretty much is a consistent worker for as young as he is.
He's definitely that, Jim, but he's one that I was hinting at a little bit where Javon knows, okay, this is my next spot. Okay, this is where I'm supposed to bend over. And, you know what I mean? Like and again, he's young, he's green. I'm not going to hold it completely against him, but it's just like, to me, it's noticeable with Javon Evans, right? It's like, I got to move from this part of the ring so I can get over here to the top rope and do my, high flying spin and move, which is great, right? I mean, I want to see the guy do all of that just the same way we always wanted to see Montez Ford do it. But like, we got to get him with the guy like AJ Styles. We got to get him with a guy like The Miz, right? As crazy as that sounds, right? A guy that came from reality TV, but he's been wrestling in the ring for 20 years now. I mean, he's a veteran. He knows how to put a match together. So we need to get Javon working with some guys that can help him put a match together because he's got all the tools too. I don't know how his I'm a young buck, I'm having so much fun character is going to play in a league where guys have to be dominant and I'm going to kick your ass, but it's a breath of fresh air right now.
Chris?
I'm going to put it to you this way. He didn't make that big of an impression on me, right? I hadn't thought about it the way that Rod was talking about waiting for that next spot, but I did, thinking back about it, that's exactly kind of how it felt. So it didn't really keep my attention for that whole match. I mean, I watched because I'm an Americano fan now, but that was about it. So I need to see more of them.
What did keep my attention was when CM Punk came out and did an interview, and then Finn Balor came out and is going to face CM Punk on Raw. Now listen, I'm a huge Finn Balor fan. He's probably my third or fourth favorite wrestler. Love him. WWE hasn't done anything with him single-wise. He was tag team champion for a while, but really he was kind of put in the back. I want this match to be amazing. I want him to come out in the demon paint or some kind of face paint, and I want them to have a terrific match next week. And he's going to lose, and that's fine. No problem. I want him to have a great match, and then let's start doing something with Finn Balor. You've got one of the best wrestlers in the world that you're wasting away here, Rod.
Could not agree with you more on the Prince, the Demon, Finn Balor, the Irish street thug. I'm not entirely sure what we're doing with Finn Balor, the character, at this moment, but I know that he is a heck of a wrestler. I am a bit surprised to hear you say that you didn't expect Finn Balor to come walking out because, correct me if I'm wrong here, Jamie, but you can almost change your calendar to Finn Balor gets a garbage run at the WWE title between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, right? He did it against Roman.
Kind of a Kevin Owens thing, too. We need somebody good. Let's put him in.
I believe he fought Cody Rhodes as well right around this time in a title match. You know what I mean? So, like, we always kind of, hey, everybody loves Finn Balor. Everybody respects Finn Balor. It'll seem like a big match when we put Finn Balor on the card, but nobody really thinks Finn Balor's going to win. And all we're really going to do is have Finn Balor play WWE 2K in the back, and Dom's going to talk about chicken fingers, and JD McDonough's going to walk in with his big head and take up a lot of room in the shot. That's really all we're doing with Finn Balor at this point.
Chris?
I'm going to tell you what. The one thing that, as a newbie type wrestling fan, that I like about watching Finn Balor fight is that I'm always able, or at some point during the match, I am almost believing that he can win this. Like, I think he sells stuff really good. I think he works well in the ring. And there are times in every match of his, I am almost convinced that they're going to let him win. And they're going to do that against Phil. And I'm going to be heartbroken because I'd love to watch Phil get just drove into the mat by Finn Balor on that. So I will love to watch it. I know I'm going to believe Finn's going to be able to pull it out, and then he won't, and I'll be heartbroken. Go Finn Balor.
Chris, I love that about you, Chris, because it is still real to you, and I really, really appreciate that. If Finn Balor wins the championship from CM Punk, they have not only thrown out the script for WrestleMania, they burned down the house. Okay? That's not going to happen, but I think it's going to be a really solid matchup. There's
always a chance Phil gets hurt.
Chris, we know how Rod feels about Liv Morgan. How do you feel about Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez being the number one contenders for the Women's Tag Team Championship?
I'm sure this is some long-term storytelling that they're working on, right, that you keep telling us about. But I love watching both of them wrestle. I think they are great in the ring. I think we'll see how their chemistry keeps working in the ring, too. I thought Liv would be more pushed in the singles route than Roxanne, though. So I'm a little bit confused there as far as what they're doing. I thought Liv was much better in the singles matches than getting back into the tag team.
Well, Rod, I think it's one of those where Raquel now has to be that interim person to go after Stephanie Vaquer for the championship, and maybe Liv wins the Royal Rumble.
I did think that when Liv was back and got the run here with Roxanne Perez. Had a couple of other thoughts. not sure they could get any tighter or smaller shorts around Roxanne Perez's hips for her new look there. That was looked like she was like almost suffocating with those things on. I don't know how comfortable that is to fight in the ring. Maybe she should consider some new gear. And the other thing, Jimmy, that I had to ask myself about that match is, I know Alexa is in Europe. I know Charlotte is in Europe. And I know you're going to have all of these tag teams come down to the ring, and they're going to fight for a number one contenders match to take on Rhea and Io, and somehow my girls weren't involved. I don't understand how we're going to have a farce of a number one contenders match for the women's tag team belt, and Charlotte and Alexa are not going to be in it, Jimmy. I just don't get it.
Alexa was too busy on SmackDown. I'm sorry, Rod.
Whatever. There's only one tag team women's belt, though, so put them on whatever show you need to put them on and get it done.
There are two women's world champions.
They won Best Tag Team of the Year. They are automatically number one contenders. I don't know what the deal is either, Rod. I mean, they're the best tag team. We've proven that on this show.
Listen, that was a mini Rod Nation there, Jimmy. But if you guys haven't talked about Gunther v. AJ Styles yet, I got a real Rod Nation cooked up since I didn't get to do my NBA one.
Not yet. All right. Well, you know what? Let's talk real quick about Stephanie Vakir and Raquel Rodriguez. Do the same thing over and over again. Hopefully this match will be good as soon as Stephanie Vakir can actually wrestle, because she is hurt, but just not that bad. Again, it's one of those middle Rumble WrestleMania that they got to get somebody to wrestle with. I'm okay with it. Just let's move it along.
I think it's almost Raquel's last stand, right? I mean, if she can't make something happen in this match, and like we can't move the needle a little bit with her being involved in a story angle, then she's going to go back to just standing in the background of the Judgment Day while they play video games. So it's almost her last stand here.
Speaking of moving along, let's go to Rod's mad. Dude, I'm not going to lie. Real quick. I am so good that my Rod Nation sound bites for the NBA work perfectly for the WWE. I didn't even realize that. That's how good I am.
It's almost as if I have a theme to almost anything that I talk about on the show, whether we're doing wrestling, basketball, or football. But here's my Rod Nation here, and it's first going to start with an admission. Bruce Pritchard, Triple H, Nick Khan, all of these guys, they know more about professional wrestling than I do, okay? I like to sit here and act like I know what should happen. That's half of the fun in it. I'm going to tell everybody that's listening that I'd like to think I know more than the average person you could talk to about wrestling, and that's why you should pay attention to us here on the network, but I am by no means an expert, okay? So I will admit that I've never written a wrestling match, and if I wrote a wrestling match, it probably wouldn't be nearly as cool as the ones that are on TV. That caveat being said, I don't understand how a surprise win by AJ Styles over Gunther, who has not lost a non-title single match the entire time he has been in the WWE, isn't a better story than Gunther cheating once again to win, AJ Styles losing again, and Gunther looking in the camera, laughing maniacally, and calling John Cena a bitch. It's starting to get a little bit old. I feel that you can still play off of that heat and still play the story of Gunther versus AJ Styles, and you get more meat on the bone if AJ gets a huge win there instead of just the same old, let's protect AJ with a nut shot. The nut shots have got to go, Jimmy. They've absolutely got to go. If you're going to do all of these other things in these matches these days and then tell me that a guy's going to be down for the count because you hit him in the nuts, well, I'll admit, nobody wants to get hit there, and it is a sensitive area. We need to move past saving guys by doing nut hits, and they didn't really lose, and we just need to get past it. Gunther can lose. It's okay. AJ can win. It's okay. And we can continue telling a story.
That's interesting. I never thought about that. You get these super crossroads off the top rope and you kick out of it. You kick out of 3 Superman punches, spears. But you get hit in the nuts, you're down, buddy. Chris, do you think you could kick out after a nut shot? We've said nuts a lot, by the way.
We sure have. I'm sorry about that.
Chris I think he got hit in the nuts.
Might have.
Okay, I am back.
There you go.
I think my internet just got kicked in the nuts. We can keep saying the word nuts. How about that? All right. No, you would think as a professional, you can see other professionals going down because of this. Why not wear an athletic protective cup? I learned that in Little League, Jimmy. When did you learn that?
I was a catcher, believe me. I learned that very early. There was a segment, there was something where someone had a cup on once.
See? And Jimmy remembers it so well. That's why they haven't done it again.
Because it's happened
That's
once.
what I mean, exactly. It's just, all I'm trying to say here, Jim, is we all know that the end is near for AJ Styles. We all know Gunther has incredible heat. Why not just do something that surprises? You know what I mean? Like, we all kind of thought that match was probably going to be a schmoz fest and they were going to fight again. So why not do the one thing that actually would make people fired up to see the next fight? AJ Styles got a victory over Gunther, who's never lost unless it was a title match.
I agree with you. I thought this was at least a different ending as far as the fake tap out. But AJ Styles is a veteran, and he knows you never, ever let go until the ref tells you it's over. And it was AJ Styles who wore the... okay, here we go. AJ Styles wore a protective cup against Shinsuke Nakamura because they had that stupid angle at the WrestleMania a few years ago after Shinsuke won, where all he did was hit him and do the nut shot. So AJ Styles wore a cup to stop that. Does that happen moving forward? Perhaps with Gunther and AJ gets a win.
Okay, if we're doing long-term storytelling with the blow downstairs, I'll try to move us away from the NUTS. If we're trying to do that, I'm for it. But somehow, Jimmy, I don't necessarily think that that's what we were doing. I think it was just a basic run-of-the-mill, we got to protect AJ Styles, don't you?
That was probably basic run-of-the-mill. We're not going to beat Gunther.
We know the WWE writers listen to Jimmy. They have paid attention to him in the past.
They do. You're right. No, you're right. I agree with you. Braun Breaker's back also. He's going to get suspended, but not really, and then he's going to come back and probably win the Royal Rumble. We'll see what happens with that.
You think so? Is that who you put your money on right now, Jimmy?
I don't think so. I don't know. It's so, like I said earlier, it's so strange that the Rumble is not our main focus right now. We're not having people pick balls out of anything or having matches to go into the Royal Rumble, people declaring for the Royal Rumble. So I need to think about it. It might be, there's a lot of people that could win, but then there's also, there's like 5 people that could probably win.
I had this thought.
Seth Rollins, I'm not taking him out.
That's a good call there. I had this thought on the women's side, Jimmy. Bianca Belair.
I would just please be healthy.
Yeah.
She could be your number one star, and that's saying something because you have Becky Lynch, you have Rhea Ripley, okay? You've got Liv Morgan, you've got all these people. I think Tiffany Stratton will probably be back for the Rumble. I don't think she's going to win it, but I think she'll be back for that.
Tiffany Stratton's time is over.
The women's division is
amazing. I agree with you. There's more people that I could see being the Royal Rumble champion, right? And like, I don't see Bronson Reed being champ. You know what, Jimmy? What about what I have on right here? Could we see Sami Zayn pulling off a Royal Rumble win and being a WrestleMania main eventer? He's been hot for a while, Jimmy.
I think Sami Zayn is going to wrestle McIntyre for the championship at the Rumble. I think that's what they're going to do.
Why they always got to do Sami that way. Why can't he ever win the Rumble, Jimmy? Because then he did the same thing with Roman because he had the angle with the Elimination Chamber, so then he couldn't really be involved in the Rumble that year.
Yeah. All right. So that's going to do it for the Yeah We Know podcast. But we have something that we haven't talked about for NFL-wise in a few weeks, and I know, Rod, you've wanted to talk about it. We haven't talked about it yet. We need to talk about our Indianapolis Colts and the season they've had, where they're going, what they're doing. And, Rod, Chris blew my mind last segment when he said he thinks Shane Steichen will be fired next year, and he wants Mike Tomlin to take over the Indianapolis Colts. That's insane.
Yeah, that is really weird coming out of our guy. Did he talk about how the sainted Sauce Gardner was going to lead the Colts into the promised land the next couple of years? Because it's certainly not going to be a draft pick the next couple of years. Did that come up in your guys' little Colts discussion?
It wasn't a Colts discussion at all. That's why we're going to talk about it now. It was a Tomlin discussion. But I did make the comment that, yes, they need to tank because Chris is for tanking so they can get the number 1 pick next. Oh, they can't. And Mike Tomlin. Maybe they could get Tomlin. So I guess what we have to sit down and chat here is the Colts organization. They kept the GM. They kept the coach. What world, Rod, do you think this is a positive moving forward? Or is there no way that they're not both being fired next year?
I think, unfortunately, they're probably both being fired next year because of the parameters that Carly Ursay Gordon basically set down in that press conference, right? I mean, like she said without saying that, like, next year's it if they don't accomplish the Super Bowl, which I don't think any of us think they can win next year, so they're probably out. But with Tomlin being run out and Harbaugh going out and all this stuff, it's just got me to thinking, Jimmy, and I'm like, I don't know that the grass is always greener. I just don't. I think that there's a lot of something to be said for continuity. I think there's a lot of something to be said for Shane Steichen's a pretty good play caller. Can you really find anybody else better out there right now? I'm not so sure. Has Chris Ballard made a perfect move every time as Colts GM? No, he hasn't. But has he made a lot of pretty good moves that are better than a few other guys you could get out there? Probably. They've all been in the building for a while. You know, like the Phillip Rivers story was cool, but I think that team was faltering no matter what, right? Like, I don't necessarily know that just Daniel Jones being out was going to be the problem for that Colts team, right? I think we were working on a little bit of smoke and mirrors. I think we had a little bit of an easy start. I think we had a little bit of catching people off guard. I think Jonathan Taylor, I didn't hear about a big injury, but he fell off near the end of the year. That Colts offensive line proved to be thin. The defense was absolutely getting shredded at the end of the year. So I think the Phillip Rivers, Dennis Quaid sports movie really put a Band-Aid on a complete collapse by the Colts. And the only thing I'll say about Sauce Gardner is I didn't predict this exactly, Jimmy, but I did say it just set up too many scenarios for disaster for the Colts. And we're kind of there right now because we don't have a quarterback. We're either going to sign one who's just coming off an ACL or we got to play Riley Leonard. So congratulations.
Yeah, the quarterback position wasn't the issue for the Colts this year, even after Jones got hurt. Rivers played fine and Leonard played great, obviously, but their defense was just so bad that they need to have a big overhaul there. Sauce Gardner will help, and I said this before. I said the worst case scenario, which it came out to be the worst case scenario, is you're going to have the 16th pick 16th pick in the draft. Would you take Sauce Gardner for the 16th pick in this year's draft? Yes, you would. Okay? I would anyway. Would you take him for the 16th pick in this year's draft and next year's draft? Probably. Would you take him for the 16th pick and the 5th pick next year? Probably not. And that's where, Chris, it is the issue. Where do you see the Colts going moving forward? Do you think they just have to focus on defense, or do we need to do something different at quarterback?
I mean, I think you have to do both. And I think that's the biggest strike against Ballard, right? He whiffed on Anthony Richardson. I think we can all kind of agree on that, even though it's probably unfair to a guy that's only played.
I don't agree on that.
He's only.
Who else are we going to play next year? He's still under contract.
I know. I'm just saying, as far as what we've been able to see, and it's only 20 games, it's not been great. It's been a roller coaster, and he's not that accurate, and that hurts in the NFL. You have to be able to be accurate.
Well, accuracy's probably not going to be great considering his vision still seems to be impaired. So,
I think that's the thing where I think they missed. Obviously, is he can't see right now, so that's big. But again, 20 games in the NFL, Chris. He had 17 games in college, I think. So he's only quarterback 37 games. You can't expect him to learn. People were ready to throw Caleb Williams out on the fire because he didn't play very well last year with a coach who didn't even coach him. And now he's doing good with the coach. Sam Darnold has been on 6 different teams and is again 14-3. We can do something with Anthony Richardson. He almost won the starting job.
I don't disagree.
We could do something with him.
Agree with you. And this is going to lead to my second point, because in the NFL, it is easier to quickly turn around a defense than it is to try to do that with an offense. All right. If we can get some good free agent signings, develop maybe some more talent, keep some people healthy, I think our defense becomes not trash, but to above average. I think we can raise that floor, and I think you can do it quickly.
At this point,
I'm just saying that's how Ballard saves his job, is by rebuilding that defense or solidifying that defense quickly. And that's going to be the epitome of what he has to do, because you have to make sure and get the right players for the right scheme that you guys are going to be running.
3 different Jaguars head coaches have won the AFC South since the Colts have won the AFC South.
How dare you?
Think about that.
You keep your head up, young man. You keep your head up, young man. You did a hell of a job. You keep your head up.
And with that, you've been listening to the More You Know podcast live with Jimmy, Chris, and Rod.
I only have one thing left to say because I didn't get a chance to talk during the NBA segment. Illegal screen.
Bye, net. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Illegal screen.